Welcome back to The Worthy Woman with Aston Simmons. I have a beautiful guest with me today. I'm super excited for this chat. We were just talking off air and I was like, we need to start recording. There's already so much gold to share with you. So I have the beautiful Belle Verdiglione here today, and I've been practicing that. So please appreciate that pronunciation. Such a beautiful name. Belle is an incredibly talented woman. I'm going to get her to share more about her and everything she does, but her main focus is photography and business coaching, and she supports women and non-binary photographers. She helps them find their focus and their confidence to live a life in alignment. And I absolutely love that, because that's what I'm all about this year, all about getting more into alignment, getting focused on what's really important to me. And there's so much that we're going to dive into. We've talked a bit about authenticity, a bit about the mundane of motherhood, and really diving into your creativity. I know as a mum, I was starved of my creativity for so long. So and I know a lot of women I talk to and a lot of women that listen really struggle with this element of, how do I be a mum and still be creative? Can I still have fun? Adulting is hard. We were just talking about adulting and how boring it can be, how mundane it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're going to be diving into all of this. So stick around. I'm going to really just pass you over to Belle now to really just feel this beautiful woman's heart. Honestly, she has such a big heart. She's so colorful. I literally think of creativity and think of Belle. You're going to get so much from this chat. So I'm going to pass it over to this beautiful woman. And thank you so much for being here, gorgeous.
Oh my goodness, what an intro. My heart is just absolutely overflowing at the moment. Thank you, Aston, for inviting me to be on this amazing podcast. So exciting to be here. Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm a photography coach and I really love to support creatives and photographers through the process and the highs and lows of running a business and just having that support of a community. I think a community is absolutely priceless in business. And I didn't understand that until I birthed the Camera Queens and realized how much we learn from each other. And I had so many mistakes that I had made through business and I felt really lonely, or, if I was having a really tough month, I would just think, oh, you can't see through that darkness. And I didn't understand that, everyone needs a coach. Coaches need coaches. And just to have that outside person looking into your business to go, actually, have you tried this? Or you're very emotionally attached to your business. And I think sometimes we just don't know which way to go. And I honestly get really sidetracked by all the shiny, bright things. I'm always like, oh, that looks great. I'm going to try that. Or, oh, I need to create this workshop or this offer. And so I can sidetrack and almost self-sabotage myself. And then when you have a coach that's going, Belle, you're doing the thing again. Like,
Yes.
let's stay on track. This is your goal. Let's just focus on this one thing, and be the master of that, And so for the last couple of years, I've really just narrowed in and found my focus of just, helping others create profitable and sustainable businesses. And even if it's a side hustle, like a hobby, or they just love, photography and just want to do a few shoots, not have it as a full-time business, I think my zone of genius is really tapping into what makes them tick, what really lights them up, what sets their soul on fire, what is it about them to help them see that they are so magnificent, so imperfectly perfect already. And so they can drown out the noise of, social media and looking at what everyone else is doing. And then that starts a spiral of going, oh, well, that photographer is releasing this type of session. Maybe I need to do that. Or this person's doing this right now. Maybe I should be doing that. And then you make it mean something about your own self-worth or your own journey, or that, you're not as successful because you're not reaching this 6-figure business or 7-figure business. And so I think my purpose, I know my purpose, not I think. I know my purpose is to really help others just have the confidence to be unapologetically themselves and just go, you know what? I'm going to have the balls just to try it, because most people don't even have the audacity just to go, I'm going to go for this. This is my dream, and I'm just going to throw it, I'm going to put it out there and just get in the arena and go for it. And it's so easy. And this is something that I personally have struggled with in the past and still have to work through, is those, those thoughts and the stories and the little voices in your head that are saying, if you do that, people are going to think this about you. Or if you wear that, then this means that, or are you too old to wear brightly colored sequin pants? There's so many stories and so many voices. And so I let that stop me from reaching or going after my goals for so long. And if I can fast track any other photographer to be like, cool, you've just started a business. You know what? Run a workshop, teach what you've already learned. You don't have to have 5 years under your belt or 10 years under your belt, or, all of those sort of things. And some of my, previous students are running workshops. They're on podcasts, they're being interviewed, they're, selling out retreats. And it's like, oh my gosh, it took me so long to even have the courage to do that. And you're doing that in your first year of your business. Hats off,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. There's so much in that. I was just goosebumps, heart exploding, because I just feel the same. For some weird reason, we all need permission to be ourselves. It's so weird. It's crazy. And I'm no different. I was like, yep, I still have coaches. I'll probably always need them. And my clients say the same thing when I'm like, you're not broken. You can be yourself. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes, you can do it your way. You don't try to be anyone else but you. And this probably leads us into the topic of authenticity. And I know you don't love that word. And I can already understand why, because I have a similar feeling. It's not as easy as just be yourself. Like you were saying, it takes a lot of courage. For some strange reason, we are wired to try and belong to a pack. That's just in our DNA. So we do care what other people think. And I know one little thing that's helped me is realizing that actually everybody else is thinking about themselves. Nobody else is thinking about me. And it was actually the day I had this realization, it was a bit of a rude awakening. It kind of hurts a little bit when you realize, oh, no one's actually thinking about me. They're thinking about how whatever you do, whatever it can give them. So they're thinking about, okay, well, whatever Belle is putting out or whatever Aston is doing, how does that relate to me? They always are bringing it back to themselves. And I do the same. We all do the same. That's how we're wired. And that has definitely helped me overcome some of those thoughts of caring about what other people think. But then another huge part of it is exactly like you said. It's that work on the limiting beliefs, on the stories, that is forever work, because it's you get through a whole layer and you go to a next level and then you find a whole nother treasure chest. I try to look at it like gold now and be like, okay, there's gold here. It doesn't feel like gold when you open it. I totally understand. You have to go down before you go up. And it does feel like, oh, why am I still facing these challenges? But at every level, there's challenges. I know that I've had so many challenges, and I know there'll be more to come. It's not like if you have challenges, it's when. So, practicing having this courage and that confidence in yourself, I could really feel that as you were speaking, that it's really about that inner confidence. Your genius is connect to who you are inside. And then once you have that, you can do those things you think you can't do. It's incredible. So yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit more about authenticity, because I know this is something we really collectively struggle with. We want more transparency. We all want more vulnerability and realness. And like we were talking before, it translates to everything. It's not just, it's in our relationships, it's in our work, it's with our kids, it's with our friends. It's literally everywhere. We're starving for it. But it is not as easy as just be yourself.
Right. That is so, it's I call that toxic positivity, where it's
Yes.
looking at Instagram, you're seeing all these affirmations and these memes, and it's be yourself, be authentic, just be you. And it's for a long time, I was like, but who am I?
Yes.
Like, I don't even know who the F I am.
Yeah.
So how can I be that? Who is Belle? Who is this? Like, I've morphed from, there's so many labels and so many masks that I've had to take off to then go, oh, okay, this has happened to me. That's pretty traumatic. I haven't really dealt with that. Maybe I need to look at that, right? Or I've, birthed two beautiful children and I am no longer able to do, or have the freedom that I once had, when I was playing in a rock band and, traveling around the world and doing all the fun things, right? And then I'm like, okay, and I'm also a wife and I'm a daughter and I'm a friend, I'm a coach. Like, there are so many different parts of me. So how can I show up as all of that when I haven't even amalgamated that into one, identity? And I also believe we're constantly changing, we're constantly evolving. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. It's like that death and rebirth cycle. It's like, okay, this is no longer serving me, or these friends, or this, way of thinking, or this way of doing or being is no longer serving me. How can I detach from that identity? How can I then, like you said, look at the gold in peeling off those layers? And, sometimes I will go through my, death and rebirth cycle. And one of my really strong limiting beliefs is the I'm not good enough. That's the I'm not good enough story. I'm not worthy of being seen. I'm not worthy of success. Who am I to teach photographers how to do business when, I'm sometimes a mess, or anxiety rears its head, or, I get triggered by, something that's happened from my past. And then I go, oh my gosh. But I'm like, but that's the gold, right? If you share from that place, if you share from that, I think for a while there, I had this identity of I have to have my shit together in order to teach. I have to look like I'm doing, $10,000 to $15,000 a month, and only tell them that and not tell them about, the expenses that were 12 grand that month. So I didn't make any money, or the fact that I ran a workshop at a loss, and then I was like, you know what? I need to be the leader here. I need to show them that it is hard at times, that I'm crying, that I'm, it's not just all sunshine and roses and, everyone's making money and it's all amazing and people are coming, right? And so I think I'm here to go, actually, let's just cut through the bullshit, if I can say that. And just show up in a way that I would love someone to show up. So if I was being coached by a photographer, how do I want them to show up? I want them to show up from their heart. I want them to, explain to me that you're going to have good months and you're going to have bad months. You're going to, sometimes launch something and it may not work, right? But it's how we deal with that. And in Camera Queens, we have Fuck Up Fridays, and it's about celebrating all the things that didn't work that week and going, you know what, there's so much opportunity and growth in our mistakes. And the people that are scared of making mistakes, they're not the ones that are going to grow. They're not the ones that are going to go, this is success to me. This is amazing. This is me running a business and feeling so juiced up by it that I jump out of bed every day. And I'm like, cool, this is what I get to do. And so there was something else that we talked about as well that I wanted to bring in about the identity. And I think that was the main thing about, the be yourself and, show up authentically, is knowing that warts and all, you are so amazing. Like, we are humans. And we are going to make mistakes and we are going to say the wrong thing at times. And it's about, are we going to let that guilt and shame and judgment of ourselves keep us small, keep us safe, keep us doing the same thing every day? Or are we actually going to go, you know what, fuck it. Let's just be okay with making mistakes. And you and I both have children. And could you imagine when they were learning to walk or learning to talk or learning to draw or ride a bike or anything to go, oh, you didn't get it right the first time. So don't even worry about learning to swim.
Yeah.
Like, don't even worry. You don't have the right stroke. It's not perfect. You can't even tread water yet. Of course not. We're going to give them positivity. We're going to love on them. We're going to go keep trying. Get back up. Start again. Let's go. You can do this. I love you no matter what. And I think that to me is what a good coach does. It like they help you to see that your mistakes are absolutely like priceless, and we just have to keep getting back up and keep going. And
definitely.
So many businesses, especially in Australia, I think it's 1 in 3 in the first couple of years fail. And I'm like, come on, like there's more to just marketing and PR and like this is how we do an offer. And I'm talking like this because I don't know.
It's so robotic. It is.
Right? And I'm like, where's the heart? Where's the soul? People are buying from you. They want your voice. There's 8 billion people on this planet. Like, who are you not to share your story or in only the way your people are going to magnetize to you? Because, there are so many photographers out there. And this is what I say to my students and my queens. I'm like, but only you can capture them in the way that they need.
Yes.
Right. And if you're not putting your offers out there and you're not being of service to them and sharing what you have and how amazing your photography sessions are, that family are going to go to someone else and probably have a shitty experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, who are you to stop that, and I'm a bit harsh sometimes. I'm like, you're just being selfish if you don't actually step up and just like do it. It doesn't matter if you fall over. It doesn't matter. Just keep going.
Definitely. And I think with authenticity, it comes back to needing that permission slip. Again, we don't need it, but we do need it. We actually need to be almost forced to be ourselves. And there was so much in that. I was like, oh, yes, this is me. I can relate, like 100% my story, because I believe the same, that we evolve, that we change. And it is excruciatingly uncomfortable. I don't sugarcoat it. Like in my relationship, we've had several evolutions. We've been together 19 years. Like we're not the same people when we met. We've had kids, we've had challenges, things have gone wrong. And I think that's the problem. We have this confusion that we think sameness is safe and the familiar is safe, because our brains are wired like that. But when it comes to life, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your business, literally when it comes to anything, I'm like, that familiar safe, that sameness is not safe, especially if it's not serving you. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling frustrated, change something, anything. Like just be open to another way and making something else that was unfamiliar. And I get it. We were just saying the first step is the hardest step of anything. And that's never going to go away. Never. Anytime I do something that's first, I still get scared. But I feel that fear and I do it afraid. I take my fear into it. I don't make it wrong. I don't think I shouldn't have it. For years, I wasted time thinking I needed to not be scared before I did something. And like you said, like we ask our kids to do things all the time when they're scared. And we're like, you can do it. This is resilience building. And it's like, that's exactly what it is for us. Like this addiction to perfection is just, it's so toxic. It's not real. And to me, I feel like we have a choice. You can choose perfection or you can choose authenticity. And you can't have both. So for me, I know in the way I share, and that's why I share all the challenges in our relationship, is because people can relate. They can see themselves in the story. Like the feedback I get all the time is it's so relatable. I'm like, because that's real, because I actually went through that. So, that's why you can relate to it. And that's what I felt when you were sharing, that there is so much in that I can relate to because I'm a human just like you. I've had multiple evolutions. I became a mum. Things changed. Like, it doesn't make it wrong or right, but it does mean there's a change that I needed to evolve into. And there is definitely a death. No one likes talking about it. No one likes talking about this, this feeling of losing something, and you're never losing something. That's an illusion. But you, in order to get to the next level, you have to let go of the level you were on. It's just, there's no getting around it. And when you get there, you realize, why was I holding on to that? Like, I didn't need to stay there. Like, but I get that when you're in it, you think, oh, what if it's not going to be better than where I am? But you've just got to give it a chance. And every time I've done it, it's been worth it. Every time, hands down. So that's why I love learning from people like you, hearing from other people who have been through challenges or been in business, or other mums that are doing things differently, because to me, it's like, it's hope, it's light. It's like, even if I'm in a dark place right now, I can speak to someone else who has been through something similar. They can relate. And then I can be like, well, if they can get through it, so can I.
Oh, I love that. Permission just to be in the space and in the season that you are currently in. And
yes.
So much of what you said, I'm like, we could talk literally for
forever
hours
about this. Yeah, it's like, it's huge.
It's big. And I want to go back to something that we were talking about off podcast.
Oh yes, off air. Yes. That's why I was like, record quick. We had so much gold coming through.
We did, and it's about the creativity.
Yes.
And how you were saying to me, you see and you felt that when you become a mother, you become a little bit more serious. And we were talking about adulting, and just the mundane gets you down, and it's just like, oh my God, what are we doing for dinner, and what bills do we need?
And for me, I definitely felt like I lost my creativity, and I know I hear this from women all the time, that they do get bogged down in the mundane, in doing all the tasks, and then they lose the magic, they lose the fun, they lose the creativity, and that steals their energy. Then they have no energy, and then they feel frustrated, and and I'm always like, well, like I start with, how do we connect you back to your creativity? So I'm so glad that we talked about this, because that's exactly where I like to start.
Oh, I love this so much, because that's one of my just flavors, is tapping back into our creativity. And I hear from people who are not, photographers, they'll say things like, oh, I'm not creative, or I'm an accountant, I'm not creative, or, XYZ job. And I'm like, your profession does not define like whether you're creative or not. Like, this is something that we're all inherently, oh gosh, I'm stumbling over my words today, born with. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're all born with it, but some of us nurture it and really like use it and drive it and have it in all areas of our life. And some of us just go, no, that's not me. I'm not creative. And so the first thing I'm always going to, suggest, if anyone's feeling a bit stagnant or stuck, is to connect back to nature. Get out, go to the beach, jump off a jetty, go for a beautiful bushwalk, look at the stars, like, take some deep breaths. When was the last time you moved your body, right? Because we know studies have shown that exercise and moving our body is going to really increase our amazing, fun, gorgeous hormones. And also it can be a little bit addictive. But what I'm saying is, we need to get into our bodies and out of our heads. And I think so many of us have lived a life where it's we're just so stuck in our heads that we've forgotten the relationship between our body. And if we haven't moved it, if we haven't listened to it, if we haven't sat with it, we can then become, we have the anxious thoughts. We have I heard this last night, the itty bitty shitty committee in our heads. Yeah. I loved it. I was like, I'm using that. It's amazing. Yeah. Shout out to Jackie for that one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I feel like so many of us, me included, I was so disconnected to my body. I forgot what it was like to tap into my gut, to tap into my intuition, to feel anger and be able to move those emotions through my body. And I just stuffed everything down. I was like, oh, jealousy is a horrible feeling. We don't talk about that. Stuff it down. Hatred or anger or comparison, it feels gross, right? So I'm like, I'm going to just ignore it. I'm going to sweep it under the rug. And so I think when you start to really move through and understand that there's no good or bad emotions as
Mm.
well, that we're all just human beings having this incredible life experience full of all of these amazing feelings and thoughts and moving that through, then we can allow other things to come. And I'm so big on space, like having
Mm.
space to allow that to happen. How many times do you ask someone, how are you? And they're
Oh,
like, oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I've got all this stuff on. I'm running around like a headless chicken.
I literally hate that question. I would rather ask anyone anything. The two questions I hate are how are you and what do you do for work? I'm like, you don't get any information about who they are, you know? Like
Oh,
I really try to avoid that because you get stuck in that pattern that everybody does of or the other one I find is you'll say, how are you? And they go, fine. And like
yes.
it goes really high because fine actually means everything is effed. I just cannot even find one emotion to describe what the hell is going on right now. And I know because I used that in the past. And so, I had to cut that out. And I just love what you said because all emotions just are. They just are. They're energy in motion. And I really love what you said about getting out of your head, getting into your body, or like I like to call it, reconnect to your heart, like feel your heartbeat, breathe into your heart. Just take a moment and get into your heart because we really are so head focused in this world. And to me, it's like that's 20% of our ability and our energy. Like I actually think 80% is the rest of our body and our heart. And that's when we feel it. I'm like, you can't think your feelings. You have to feel them. Like it's the hint is in the word, the clue is in the word, feel. So you've got to feel them. And the world has made us feel like all those emotions you shared are wrong. And there is this, unlearning that needs to happen and a relearning that feelings just are. And if you've got children, that's a really great gift that we didn't ask for sometimes. And it can be extremely triggering, but there is truth in those triggers of those emotions. And I know for me, I just have to ask myself in those moments, like, what am I avoiding feeling?
Mm,
And like you said, can I give myself the space right now to just feel that thing? And sometimes it's scary. I totally get it. I'm an overachiever. I like to do things, independent woman, like, this strong woman that we've all, become because of generations before. But it's still safe for us to soften into those feelings sometimes and to realize it's a strength, not a weakness
yes.
to
Oh my
feel that,
gosh.
you know?
I love this so much. So going back to the how are you question, I love to say, how's your heart?
Oh, perfect.
Right? How's your
Perfect.
soul at the moment? And then
Yes.
the what I will say, instead of the what did you say? What did you do? What do you do?
I ask myself, what feeling am I avoiding right now? Or what am I
Yes.
avoiding
No,
feeling?
sorry. The other question about the work. What do you do for work?
Oh, yeah. What do you
That
do
one
for
that you don't
work?
mind?
And how are you? Yes. And it's
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
like,
So
fine, busy.
I really love saying things like, what do you do for fun?
Oh, love that.
Right. And straight away, it's sort of you like try it next time and watch
Yes.
people's expressions and just it's like a blip in the neural pathway because it's like, oh, hang on, that wasn't
Yes.
just that sterilized phrase of how are you?
Yeah.
And
It's
I know
not
exactly
habitual. Yeah.
right what to say. It's like, oh, she's asked me how my heart is, or she's asked me what I do for fun. I'm not used to
Yes.
this question. And it breaks people's out of that sort of
Mm.
robotic, they're wanting
Yeah.
to say that the same
Break the
answer.
pattern. Amazing.
And
I love
for
that.
in terms of creativity and just going back to this space, like it's, sometimes like, I don't know if this happens to you or any of your listeners, but when I'm going on a long drive, I'm just sort of like zoning out. And then I get all of these amazing
Mm.
ideas come to me, or
Yeah.
I'm having a
I
shower.
was going to say the shower happens to be in the
Yeah.
shower. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Or if I go for a walk, like it can happen as well. Yeah. It really is about the space,
mhm.
just and like space around you, but also like just you're literally like I'm imagining just opening up space in your brain,
Yes,
and your body, like just for something new to come in.
100%. And it's like, when was the last time you did something just for you? When was the last time
Mm.
you tapped into your beautiful inner child and played and for Christmas, we installed a below ground trampoline, and every single day we are all on this trampoline.
I
And
love that.
like I'm in the kitchen and I'll be like pottering around, and my husband, I'm like looking out the front window, and he's like literally jumping high in the air, and he's just got the biggest smile on his face. Because what does jumping on a trampoline feel like? It just takes us back, right? Takes us back to childhood and feeling free, and just like it's just such an elated experience.
And it does actually move everything around in your lymphatic system as well. So, you know, it's win. Like, you know, get a trampoline. You've convinced me. I'm like, okay, I think I need a trampoline for the kids
show
and
you
for
some
me.
Photos. It's honestly amazing. And I've had people literally message me and go, I need a photo shoot on your trampoline, or can I come around and take photos of you jumping? And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. You know, I've had 2 kids.
Oh, no, do it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. Definitely. You would make it look very cool and just like make us all want to do it. I can see it now.
I love it. I'll get some glitter or some smoke bombs or something. It would be fun.
Amazing.
Lots of color and laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're a child, your imagination is just so like, it's so present. And, you know, so sometimes I think, you know, as you go through those stages and we do become an adult and we do become a little bit more serious, we forget to dream. We forget what we wanted to do when we were little. We forget what it was like to, you know, play like in a cubby house, or, you know, play with little cars and make like mud cakes and all of the things. So it's like, get back to that. Who told you that you couldn't be an actor, or who told you that you couldn't be, you know, an astronaut? And like, when did we stop believing in our dreams? So it's always really about
stop believing in your dreams and stop believing in yourself, because because our dreams are ours, aren't they? And you know, to tie it back to motherhood and how we're saying it can be mundane, like it can, but it is a choice. I know for me, 3 years ago, I had to make that choice. I was standing on the sidelines, but I had put myself on the sidelines. You know, I was doing the dishes, watching my husband and kids have fun outside, thinking, oh, that's so lovely. And then this wave of like frustration and sadness came over me, because I was like, why can't I join in? You know, and I had several moments of like that before I fully was like, no, I can join in, you know, and I have to give myself permission to go be present in that moment. You know, I'm the one who's put myself on the sidelines. Yes, the house needs cleaning. Yes, the dishes need washing, but they don't need to be done right now. And they will get done. They will get done. But now I can do it with more fun. You know, now I will stop and I'll go and be present with the kids. And my kids used to be an excuse why I couldn't be present, and now they're a reason why I must be present. They're an invitation, you know. They're an invitation to be present. When I see them playing or whatever, I'm like, I can go do that. Like, I love puzzles, like, and then I want to do it with them, and I'm in that moment. And I think we always have this opportunity. We always get to make that choice. And I know sometimes when you're in it, like I'm in the thick of motherhood, I've got 2 under 5. I know it can feel like if I don't do it, no one else will do it. But if you don't put yourself first, truly no one else can put you first. Like those other things, someone can actually do them or not do them, and it'll be okay. But are you going to be okay being on the sidelines? You know, like I wasn't okay.
And like you said before as well, you're modeling that behavior to them.
Yes.
So are you modeling behavior that you are coming last, that everyone else comes first, and that you put yourself last? Because our children look at what we do. They're not, you know, we are their biggest role models. We are their everything. And so, you know, if we're modeling behavior, it's not say as, you know, do as I say, not as I do. It's like, no, I'm going to do every single thing that I see, because I think that is what the right thing to do.
Yes.
And like you said about being present and joining in. And we're the only one that's sabotaging that, right? Yes. We're the ones going, oh, I need to cook dinner. I need to go to the grocery store. I need to pay these bills, and not have that, you know, 10 minutes. Yeah. And I think sometimes like what really helped with me, because I had this story going on for a long time that I'm not the mother, I'm not the stay-at-home mother, I'm the mother that's, bringing home the bacon, and I'm going to work, and I'm creative, and I'm creating this big empire, so one day they will have all of the, this abundance. And I had to stop myself and go, actually, when I'm on my deathbed, am I going to be thinking about the empire that I created, or am I going to be wanting my family around me and that connection, and them to have these amazing memories of us having adventures and, doing all this amazing stuff? And then I spent time with them. And, sometimes I have to just go, that 5 minutes of quality time
Exactly.
is worth more than me going, oh, I haven't got that hour to sit with them and do something or an activity.
Yes.
How
Work
can
with
I
what
connect?
you've got. Yeah, work with what you've got. And I loved that, because I had a story like that as well that kept me stuck. Different, but mine was more like, I'm a mum, so I can't do anything else. And like we were talking before we went live, it was like, oh, for God's sake. Like eventually I got to a point where I was like really frustrated and resentful towards my own children and my husband and my family, because there was other things I wanted to do and I felt horrible about it. But I came to that place of like, I think women have been fed that it's one or the other. So it's or, not and. And I'm like, I threw that rule book out. It was not working for me. So I have a blend. I'm like, I've got the and. Like, my husband's playing with the kids. They've gone for a walk. I'm doing a podcast. But when they come back, we'll have coffee and chinos. We'll make our own little cafe at home. We'll be really present and play with each other. And then later, I've got another podcast. So I'll do a bit more work. And for me, it's the blend. There is no or, because that doesn't work. And like that model of work-life balance, that's BS. Like it doesn't work. You've got to find your blend that works for you. And I think a lot of people are starting to disconnect from that system that we've been sold, that work forever and then it'll pay off at the end and then everything will be great. Yeah, but then like your relationship, by the time you get there, there's no relationship, or the kids are like, where were you when I was like 7, So, and I know it's a lot of responsibility, but it's just that using your creativity, like you said, coming back to what authentically matters to you, and then trusting that and going with that, and then just creating your own version of it. I really think that's what we all need permission to do. And I love seeing other women talk about that and showing that you can have it all, but also getting clear on what does having it all mean to you? Like you said, what is having it all? And like you were saying at the beginning, do I really want that 6-figure business? Or, what is having it all to you? I think that's a really powerful question to ask. And I know that's one I've been asking myself a lot.
Oh, this is just like full body. I'm just like, oh, all the deliciousness. It's so true. And I was talking about this with an incredible coach the other day, and we were talking about it. Like, there's always a cost.
Yes.
Like, yes, you might be, shooting all the time, and you might be earning all of this money, and you've got all of these amazing repeat clients, and you're doing all of the things, but at what cost? To your sanity or mental health, to your relationship, to the connection between you and your children. Like, there's balance in the world, right?
Yeah.
You can't do one thing without it upsetting or
someone else
being out of equilibrium. So yeah, and I was like, I had to go back to a question that I usually ask my queens as well. It's like, what is success to you?
Yes. Yes.
What does running a successful business to you? Because for one human, it may be doing one photo shoot a month and then having all of this amazing time to connect with their children and do all of these other things. And for someone else, it may be shooting 7 days a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
That's not for me to answer. That's for you to answer.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I fully agree. Ask yourself, what is that question? And going to this year like that, I think everyone needs to really take their power back like that this year can look however you want it to look. Don't get just really hung up on those goals. How do you actually want to feel along the way? Like, This is why I like to choose a few words to just anchor in. This is what I want to feel. And if these opportunities match that feeling or they're in alignment with that feeling, great, let's go with it. If they're not, then maybe it's not for me right now. It's not my focus for this year or for these months or whatever. And I can be unapologetic about that, and then I'm like, and I encourage you to do the same, like everybody do the same. And yeah, just unattach from needing to look the same as everybody, because we're literally not the same. It's an impossible task. It's never going to end up in success. And this is how someone will get to that goal of whatever they think it is. The whole, I'll be happy when I have the relationship, or I'll be happy when I'm married, or I'll be happy when I have the car, I'll be happy when I have the big house. I mean, we could be here forever and you're never happy, because it's not that house or the relationship. It's whatever feeling you're chasing. And, accessing your creativity will help you feel that. It's so powerful.
Oh, I love all of that. And I have such a big story around seeking that external validation.
Oh, yes.
As you can see, there's quite a few awards behind me and there's more in the drawer. My hubby put it up. But that was a period in my life where I was seeking that I am good enough. Yes. I can be a photographer. See, if I win an award, that means that I can, like, I have what it takes, right, to be successful. And so what is behind me was actually born out of that, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, everyone else is better, blah, blah, blah. And so when I realized that it actually has to come from in here, I have to be okay. I have to have the validation that I'm good enough and that I am worthy to be seen in my badass, but also messy, chaotic, brain is all over the place self, then I'm like, I don't need to enter awards anymore.
No.
It's amazing how
I am enough. Yeah, just in you. And what I've loved through as a golden thread through this entire conversation, one of the biggest takeaways I've taken, and it reminds me of an exercise I did once, is looking at all the challenges and the things you've gone through, good and bad, and that becomes your certificate or qualification to live your life and do what you do or share what you do. Instead of going outside of I got this, I got that, I literally sat down one day and wrote down all of the challenges I'd overcome, all the things that I'd got through that I didn't think I would, the ways I'd grown, the qualities that I have that no one else has, that I've cultivated. And I was like, and I made myself a certificate. Like, this is my certificate that qualifies me to live my life and actually do the work that my soul came here to do. And that to me says I am enough. And that's exactly what, the journey you've been on. And truly this not enough thing, it plagues us all. I don't think I've met one other person who has not been plagued by that. It's something we all have to work through. And I think more conversations like this helps. And we go, okay, I can relate. I can see me in that. And we realize that, what would it take for us to be enough? I mean, really, seriously, I have to see myself like my daughter or my children, and just be like, I would never say that to them. No way, 100%. So what am I doing? What am I doing? Stop. Not okay. It's amazing.
I love that
my gosh. I've absolutely loved this chat. I'm like, we could go on and on. I feel like we just opened another can of worms. I will definitely have to get Belle back, I think. And Belle has a podcast coming, which I'm super excited about. So I'll definitely be sharing that with my listeners so they know where to check you out, because Belle is honestly just has such a beautiful heart. And if you're looking to connect to creativity, literally just being in this woman's presence, you just feel your creativity open up. You're like, I just want to create. So you're just so beautiful. I love your energy.
Thank you.
I've absolutely loved this chat so much. I'm going to put all of Belle's links below so you can go and check her out. She's an incredible photographer. I absolutely love your identity shoots. They are my favorite and definitely on my goal list to do, because I'm all about that identity and recreating it, like we've been talking about, accessing your worthy woman, reconnecting to your gifts. And I think those sessions you do are such a powerful way to give people a visual of that's who you are. See yourself as that person.
we have to do a potent identity session or
Yes.
an embrace couples session because I love doing.
Oh
So
my goodness.
Yeah, we should do
I'm
it.
excited. Super excited. Oh my God. Everyone's going to be checking these out now. I'm super excited. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I will put all those links to check out Belle. Thank you so much, beautiful. I've absolutely loved this chat. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be connecting with you more. Definitely go and check Belle's work out. You will absolutely love it. Super inspiring, this woman. And
amazing.
thank you for being here.
Thank you.